Tonight on 7 News, fuel quality down, quantity up. The petrol crisis plan to stop the city grinding to a halt.
Donald Trump's war declaration.
And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won.
But the bombs keep falling and new attacks on oil supplies.
Mount Pritchard kidnapping twist. A shop owner snatched from the street found with guns and loads of illegal cigarettes.
A sickening schoolyard attack in Sydney southwest. A 13-year-old girl beaten and told to bark. 3 students charged.
Atlassian staff sent packing. The blunt message from the billionaire Aussie boss as AI takes 1,600 jobs.
And Rabbitohs rant Wayne Bennett testy over Alex Johnson's try-scoring record.
Live from Sydney, this is 7 News with Angie Asimus and Michael Usher.
Good evening. After days of insisting we have enough supply, the federal government has just greenlit a plan to pour more fuel into Australia. But the extra quantity will come at the cost of quality.
Fuel standards are being relaxed to add hundreds of millions of litres of petrol and diesel as Premier Chris Minns mobilises a crisis team to ensure those who need fuel most don't run out.
The Bowsers of Batlow are battling.
It's getting a bit dire right now.
The Snowy Valley town's one servo struggling to serve it all.
There's not much to say, we ran out of fuel.
As the government announces an emergency supply boost to get the pumps pouring.
The practical action to help farmers, to help regional Australians through this immediate crisis.
Temporarily suspending Australia's fuel standards, releasing 100 million litres of lower standard fuel a month for 2 months, redirected from exports, blended into domestic supplies and sent to service stations, prioritising regional areas, particularly flood-stricken Queensland.
The big message for every Australian is don't panic. The supplies are there.
Not a supply problem, the government says, but a distribution problem. Panic buying, emptying service station supplies faster than petrol tankers can refill them.
Demand has doubled, use has not.
The International Energy Agency supercharging global supply, releasing 400 million barrels of additional oil.
The largest ever release of emergency oil stocks in our agency's history.
Enough to cover 20 days of oil being blocked by Iran, 20 million barrels a day, through the Strait of Hormuz. The government hopes the extra domestic supply puts a lid on prices at the Bowser as the ACCC cracks down on service stations gouging motorists.
Has anyone been fined yet?
Yeah, there have been fines issued.
Chris Bowen insisting
our fuel supplies continue to arrive. Our fuel stocks continue to be strong.
But says
a national crisis is a time for leadership.
I quote, a national crisis on fuel supply. Prime Minister, is the Minister correct?
They come to the dispatch box and say, is there a crisis? There is a war in the Middle East.
And farmers and motorists are paying the price. There really is some mixed messaging going on here. The government insists that fuel supplies are stable and then massively increases fuel supplies, telling people not to panic, but talking about a crisis giving rise to panic. Meanwhile, petrol prices are high and going higher, particularly diesel, and that will have a deeper impact on the economy, hiking the cost of all goods, especially groceries, hitting average Australians even harder at the supermarket, driving up inflation and increasing the chances of more interest rate rises, a worrying cycle fuelled by worries about fuel.
Mark Riley in Canberra there. Let's go live to Serena Andaloro now. Serena, the Premier's formed a fuel crisis team.
Yeah, led by Simon Draper, who is the head of the Premier's own department. But there are also representatives from Fire and Rescue New South Wales, from New South Wales Ambulance and from the police. As the price of fuel across Sydney continues to climb, the Premier says it's about making preparations for essential services in the event of supply shortages.
With this conflict in the Middle East affecting every fuel market in every part of the world, being prepared is the first responsibility of the government.
Now, the state does have emergency powers which can be enacted to make sure things like hospital generators, for example, continue running in the worst case scenario. This crisis team was established yesterday and it has already met.
Serena Andaloro, thank you.
And in the last few hours, there have been more attacks on fuel tanker ships in the Middle East, with oil refineries also hit as Iran ramps up its threats. US President Donald Trump has declared an all-out war victory, but he's not bringing his troops home yet.
A blaze in the Gulf. 2 super tankers attacked by Iran, rammed by power boats packed with explosives. Here, an attack drone hits an oil storage depot in Oman, and 3 ships crippled too. The war's new battleground, the Strait of Hormuz. An Iranian propaganda video shows off an underground armada, with Tehran warning its enemies not 1 litre of oil will pass through the strait.
Operation Epic Fury!
The US president declaring victory.
And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won.
But still no word on when the fighting will end.
We don't want to leave early, do we? We got to finish the job, right?
The US says it's hit more than 5,000 targets in Iran. Iran claims double that. As thousands turned out to bury the commanders of the old regime, still no sign of the new leadership. Further fueling the hate, a leaked US report on the strike into a girls' school that killed 168 children. The missile, an American Tomahawk, likely programmed with outdated coordinates. The building was once part of a military base.
We, of course, never target civilian targets.
In Lebanon, the other war, a dramatic escalation. More than 600 dead, 1,500 wounded, 700,000 uprooted. Among the victims, a priest, the Pope calling Father Pierre Al-Rahi a true shepherd. Also buried, a Red Cross volunteer, described as carrying out his humanitarian duty.
We try and limit civilian casualties as much as we can.
From Hezbollah, a reply overnight. Rocket after rocket hurled into Israel's north, their biggest assault yet. All week, Iron Dome defences in overdrive as Israel scrambles to intercept Hezbollah's rockets and drones from the ground and air.
So we're 10 kilometres from the border with Lebanon, and what you can see there is an Apache helicopter. For the last 5 minutes, it's been chasing a drone that was sent in by Hezbollah, presumably, across the border.
With casualties escalating, so too is the criticism. Israel standing firm.
Is this going too far? Are there too many innocent lives lost?
Every target is checked by international lawyers over and over again.
Let's go live now to Chief Reporter Chris Reason, who remains in Tel Aviv. And Chris, good evening. Iran says it is prepared to talk.
Good evening, Michael. The President of Iran has been in back-channel conversations with the President of Russia, Putin, and also Pakistan's Prime Minister, and he's come up with an end for the war on 3 conditions: that Iran's guaranteed safety, its rights restored, and that it gets payment for damages inflicted. Now, of course, that will be laughed out of the room. There's only one man that can end this war, and that's the man that started it, Donald Trump. However, Iran is proving more resilient and damaging than either America or Israel had predicted. There's a lot of speculation now that these ambitions to have regime change may well have to be shelved.
All right, Chris, thank you from Israel tonight. Well, the tables have turned on a Western Sydney tobacconist who was kidnapped last month and held hostage for 2 days.
Detectives have now raided the man's business and home, finding pistols and revolvers, as well as suspected drugs.
At Fairfield Court,
how's your husband after the kidnapping?
as his wife raged outside, Bilal Boumelem was denied bail inside. Last month, the 53-year-old was dragged from his tobacco store by 4 masked men. This time, it's the police who've come knocking, hauling him away in handcuffs. The one-time victim is now an accused underworld player after detectives raided his car, home and shop, finding guns, suspected drugs and 39,000 illegal cigarettes. Boumelem was kidnapped a fortnight ago and held for 2 days at this Dural farm. Police stormed the property, rescuing Boumelem and arresting a 16-year-old boy, with a second man arrested at Penrith this week.
At this Mount Pritchard shopping strip, neighbours are asking what's next. A kidnapping at the tobacconist, only to be rivalled by what's been going on next door at the mini-mart.
Detectives are probing links after it was firebombed last April, ram-raided in May, then set ablaze by masked men in June.
What the There's just been problems.
Clementine Cuneo, 7 News.
A truck driver has died when he was crushed by his own vehicle on the Pacific Highway in Wahroonga early this morning. Another person leapt into the moving refrigerated truck and pulled the emergency brake to stop it rolling into traffic. The driver was treated by paramedics but died at the scene. New doubts are tonight hanging over the Royal Commission into anti-Semitism and the Bondi terror attack after one of its most senior figures abruptly quit. Dennis Richardson says he was overqualified and overpaid for his part in the probe.
Dennis Richardson tells the Parliamentary Press Gallery
I was surplus to requirements.
The ex-boss at ASIO, Defence, Foreign Affairs, indispensable 2.5 months ago.
The most experienced person.
As the government put him in charge of its Bondi massacre inquiry.
You would not find anyone more highly recommended.
10 days later, it folded the Richardson investigation into a new Royal Commission on anti-Semitism. One of our most lauded public servants found himself
more of a highly paid researcher.
$5,500 a day. Dennis Richardson says he was way overpaid. Today he quit, with this to say on the woman now trying to shed light on any failings that led to Bondi. Royal Commissioner Virginia Bell.
We actually like one another. She's a tremendous person and she is one of the most highly rated jurists in this country.
This as the Senate passes legislation meant to protect public servants who give the Royal Commission sensitive information. The Greens argue the new measures give security agencies too much power to limit what their employees can say to the Royal Commissioner. The fox, according to the Greens, is in charge of the hen house.
I fear that evidence won't come before the Royal Commission, and if they're not getting the full picture, well, we can't rely on the outcome.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
2 of the victims of the late Cargelligo shooting were laid to rest today, side by side. Sophie Quinn and her aunt, Nerida Quinn, were killed when a gunman let loose on the small town nearly 2 months ago. Sophie was 7 months pregnant. The alleged killer, Julian Ingram, hasn't been seen since, and police were on high alert at the funeral today. A $250,000 reward has been announced for any information that may lead to his arrest.
Floods in regional Queensland have turned deadly, with police this morning confirming 2 bodies were found inside a submerged car. Search crews located the vehicle west of Gympie yesterday afternoon. Authorities believe the pair were backpackers who vanished while travelling through the flooded region.
Video has emerged of a horrendous bullying incident at a southwest Sydney school where a student was punched and made to bark like a dog. The attack so severe, 3 girls have been now charged with assault. And a warning to viewers, the images you're about to see are distressing.
It is humiliating and demeaning.
In your mouth and smile at the camera. Smile. Smile. Yeah, get on the table now. Fat.
If their intention was to cause fear, they did, forcing the 13-year-old to behave like a dog.
Now say, start barking and start saying.
This is bullying in 2026. We cannot identify the school or show you the victim's face, but just imagine how it would feel being surrounded by 3 other students who mock and degrade you. Then this.
Punches for you. Punches for you.
They shoved the tip of a dirty shoe onto her lips.
In your mouth and smile at the camera. Smile. Smile.
All of this unfolding within school grounds last month. This kind of behaviour is completely unacceptable, the Education Department said in a statement. The school is now working closely with New South Wales Police, who are investigating this matter as it is appropriate. Support measures are now in place to ensure the safety and well-being of those impacted. Police have since charged 3 girls aged 13, 14 and 15 with intimidation and assault offences. They'll face court in the coming weeks. Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
Homegrown software giant Atlassian has joined a growing list of companies slashing jobs to make way for AI.
1,600 roles are on the chopping block, which is about 10% of its staff. The news came with an apology from the CEO at a time when the company is rapidly losing value.
It's the simple video message that landed in staff inboxes this morning, telling 1,600 Atlassian employees they're being let go.
I don't make decisions like this lightly.
The Aussie-born tech company fired 10% of its global workforce, 500 jobs in Australia axed, freeing up funds to invest in artificial intelligence.
We're also a people company. It's an incredibly hard decision, but I still believe that it's the right one.
Atlassian's best known for developing collaboration software used by big brands like Mercedes-Benz, Nestle and ANZ. The sacked staff, the latest casualties to AI in the tech sector. The global technology company Block slashed its workforce from 10,000 jobs to just over 6. WiseTech Global is slashing 30% of its workforce. That's about 2,000 jobs gone. Amazon, as of this month, made 16,000 corporate job cuts to improve efficiency. And Dow Chemical, one of the largest chemical producers in the world, is shedding 13% of its workforce, 4,500 jobs. Raising fears this is just the beginning.
Far more quickly and more efficiently and at a fraction of the cost. We're going to see a few more people, unfortunately, having to face the unemployment lines.
Inga Nielsen, 7 News.
Water New South Wales is checking the structural integrity of two major regional dams after an earthquake northwest of Canberra. The 4.4 magnitude tremor hit the town of Burrawa around 7 o'clock last night. A rural fire service camera picked up the shaking, which was felt by thousands, even by some in Greater Sydney. No reports of damage, but engineers will inspect the Burrinjuck and Wyangala dams as a precaution.
It is time to check our weather now with Amber Laidler. Amber, clear skies across Sydney today.
Angie, Michael, good evening. Yes, plenty of sunshine and warm too. Temperatures hovering above average for this time of year across Sydney and the Central Coast. It reached 26 this afternoon at Gosford. 29 was the top at Richmond and Penrith. Slightly more comfortable today too, with some relief from that stifling humidity as southerly winds picked up across the city. Strong to near gale gusts recorded in parts of the coast this afternoon. Now, those winds will continue developing into tomorrow. Warnings coming into effect along the coast, potentially a few showers early and cooler temperatures too, with the country's southeast bracing for our first bite of autumn chill. All the details on what's in store coming up in your full forecast soon.
All right, Amber, thank you very much. Well, public transport boost in our west next. The new bus routes confirmed from Campbelltown to Penrith.
2 killed as a boat goes under off our coast.
The train goes off the tracks at Auburn. There's a crane to the rescue.
How a wrong turn crippled an Aussie cruise ship.
And after sport, an Easter egg hunt for the cheapest chocolate as prices soar. Two people have drowned and a third is in hospital after a boat capsized near Yamba on the north coast. A passing fisherman rushed to help, battling treacherous conditions to reach them.
And it got to the point where we were like, we just need to get the bloke. So we pulled up next to the raft, probably halfway out the bar in the swell. And I grabbed onto the bloke and ripped him over the side of the boat and put him on the deck.
The 52-year-old man was rushed for treatment. The two others, a man and a woman in their 50s, could not be saved.
An accident at a rail yard in Auburn caused plenty of headaches today. Several carriages of a Southern Short-Haul Railroad train derailing, leaving quite the mess. No one was injured. A crane brought in to clear the area. The company wouldn't say how it happened, only that the rail regulator is investigating.
A new fleet of buses is rolling out in our west to help shuttle passengers to the new airport.
But Western Sydney landowners are lashing out at government, state and federal, for dragging their feet on what else is needed, critical rail.
What's the government doing? Are they waiting for all of us to die?
You might remember Mal from Rossmore.
Nobody's come here to see us about it. It affects the blood pressure.
His property still in limbo. It's in the long-planned southwestern rail corridor.
Last year, Albo made an election promise to buy the land to take the pressure off the landowners. When's that going to happen? What a load of crap.
$1 billion promised a year ago for future rail running from the airport city through to Campbelltown and Leppington, one of the country's highest priority proposals according to Infrastructure Australia. The airport opening at the end of the year, a $60 million business case months overdue.
That'll be complete shortly.
In the meantime, a flash new fleet of airport buses will begin rolling out from July.
This is historic public transport investment that will link communities directly that haven't been linked before.
New routes announced today. From Mount Druitt and Penrith to the airport, it will take an hour. 67 minutes from Liverpool, 66 from Campbelltown. Some flights will be faster.
This is much, much faster than what exists at the moment. That is nothing.
We're told Transport will be analysing foot traffic at the Western Sydney Airport and making timetable adjustments when it opens. But rail links are key, and they're still a long way off.
The airport metro delayed until the end of next year. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
The FBI has issued an urgent warning to people in California that the state could face a potential Iranian drone strike. The warning is based on intelligence suggesting drones were going to be sent from unidentified vessels off the American coastline.
We've been aware of that information. Drone issues have been always top of mind.
California is home to the highest concentration of Iranian dissidents in the US, up to 500,000 of them. Unclear, though, if that's why the state could be targeted.
It's been revealed a luxury Queensland cruise ship that ran aground in Papua New Guinea had veered far off its intended course. 80 passengers and 44 crew were on board the Coral Adventurer when it became stranded in December. A preliminary report from the Transport Safety Bureau shows the ship didn't correct its path in time and hit a reef. It happened weeks after the same vessel left behind a Sydney grandmother who later died on an island off Cairns. Plenty more to come in Sydney's 7 News. The warning signs that could save lives, Mel's mission as she faces her own cancer battle.
A charter boss flights accused of smuggling Sydney fugitives.
Radio star Tim Blackwell ordered to stay away from his ex-wife.
A police update on Gus Lamond. Heavy rain takes detectives back to where he was last seen.
From prisoner to home and away, remembering Wendy Playfair, dead at 99.
One of a kind, hitting the dance floor with a true Aussie supermum.
And ahead in sport, the Panthers backing their fans in Bathurst.
A court has granted an interim restraining order against Nova Radio presenter Tim Blackwell on behalf of his ex-wife. The matter was heard in Newtown Local Court, a magistrate ordering the breakfast host not to approach Monique Blackwell, who he separated from 2 years ago. The 44-year-old's lawyer says the matter will be vigorously defended at the next court date, saying it, quote, appears the AVO is being used as a weapon as opposed to a shield.
As many as 13,000 homes were left without water when road workers accidentally damaged a main in Sydney's south this morning. Multiple suburbs were affected, including Kirrawee, Loftus and Sutherland. Sydney Water sent out a team to conduct repairs and the problem has since been fixed.
A Queensland aviation operator is accused of organising a so-called black flight to smuggle Sydney criminals out of Australia. Police say the sophisticated and expensive operation involved multiple aircraft changes and falsifying records to cover their tracks.
After a night in the watch house, Grant Schultz is cleared for takeoff.
I just got to go get some documents signed.
The 42-year-old freed on bail.
Did you have any idea who was on that aircraft?
I'm not going to provide a comment at the moment.
After federal police say he helped 2 accused criminals slip out of the country.
This was a very sophisticated strategy.
The alleged fugitives boarded a flight from Orange, New South Wales to Cape York on November 10. Over the following week, they were flown around far north Queensland on light planes and helicopters before getting a charter flight to Port Stewart. That's where police say the pair caught the black flight. The transponder switched off until the aircraft reached international waters, the flight eventually landing in a province of South Papua.
Every time they land and take off at a remote airstrip, they attract attention.
The co-pilots were an Australian man and an Indonesian national. Police say they were the only 2 people people listed on the certificate of clearance, both now in the custody of Indonesian police. The alleged fugitives are both Sydney men, a 34-year-old on bail on kidnapping charges and a 35-year-old wanted for large commercial drug supply and manufacture. They too were detained on arrival. It's not the first time Schultz has made headlines. In 2023, his helicopter crashed into a dam while helping with aerial firefighting. He walked away with scratches and bruises.
As part of his bail, Schultz has been stripped of his passports and banned from going anywhere near international airstrips.
Michael Hammond, 7 News.
Hopes were high when police launched a fresh search for missing toddler Gus Lamont this week. The recent rain in South Australia was expected to unearth additional items of interest on the family's property at Oak Park Station near Yunta. Sadly, it didn't. The 4-year-old went missing in September, but police haven't ruled out further searches.
Last night, we shared with you the heartbreaking news. Our sports presenter, Mel McLaughlin, who we all love dearly, is battling lung cancer.
A lifetime non-smoker, Mel says she wants all Australians to know the warning signs in the hope that it will save lives.
Turning her battle into a call to action.
I just owe it to people that maybe could get something out of this.
Seven's Mel McLaughlin revealing she had half her lung removed after a cancer diagnosis in December. The symptoms were vague.
I had some pain in my stomach and that went on for a few months. I probably ignored it, thinking it was exercise or something.
It didn't go away. She eventually saw a doctor who ordered a CT scan.
She called me later at night when I was at work. She called me to say, your stomach's completely fine, but we found something at the bottom part of your lung.
Testing confirmed cancer. Fortunately, it hadn't spread, but the news no less shocking to Mel, who lost her sister to the same disease.
It's just very traumatic. It's very triggering.
And her colleagues, including Justin Langer, the cricket legend who worked alongside Mel as she prepared for surgery.
It was a great shock to us because we all know Mel's one of the great people, one of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet. It goes to show that cancer doesn't discriminate against anybody.
15,000 people were diagnosed last year. Almost 9,000 died. That's more than breast, prostate and brain cancers combined. The chance of surviving at least 5 years, 27%.
Lung cancer is Australia's most deadly cancer.
Because it's often caught too late, with national screening programs mainly targeting smokers over 50. But smoking is only one risk factor. Genetics and environmental causes like toxic fumes from air pollution, cooking and cleaning all contribute.
All you really need to be at risk of lung cancer is a pair of lungs.
Respiratory symptoms should be taken seriously. See a doctor if you have a cough that lasts longer than 3 weeks, unexplained shortness of breath, chest pain, coughing up blood, fatigue and weight loss.
Someone who knows the journey too well, Dr. Bryony Scott. Like Mel, her lung cancer was discovered by accident. She's also a non-smoker and had similar surgery.
I'm now 10 years on. In fact, I have just celebrated my 10th anniversary.
Her message to all who face the uncertainty of a cancer diagnosis:
medical progress has been extraordinary. There is so much hope.
Mel has been swamped with messages from well-wishers, and we know she'll get through this. There are more details on lung cancer, symptoms and how you can help at 7news.com.au. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Yeah, we're proud of you, Mel, and that awareness is so important.
'Tis indeed. Love you. Can't wait to see you back when you're ready. Mel would like this story. Sydney's newest major sporting venue will have an exclusive look at Penrith Stadium. Its name revealed.
A man and his best friend saved from croc-infested floodwater.
Will they or won't they? What the Big Four banks are predicting ahead of next week's rates decision.
And coming up in sport, the Manly stalwart staying ahead of concussion worries.
Hello, $50 billion has been wiped from the Australian Stock Exchange today as the Middle East war rages on. But oil prices rallied, with Brent crude surging by 9.2% to more than $100 per barrel. The Australian dollar is trading at its highest level in years, inching closer to 72 US cents. That's the strongest it's been since mid-2022. And that is because the market is convinced that the Reserve Bank will raise interest rates at least twice more in the next few months. All 4 major banks are tipping the cash rate will rise in both March and May. On the markets, the ASX 200 closed lower today, dropping more than 114 points or 1.31%, and the Aussie dollar is buying 71.3 US cents.
2 people and a dog have been saved from a car stuck in croc-infested floodwaters in the Northern Territory. A helicopter arriving in the nick of time in Katherine. A police officer dropping onto the vehicle's roof and retrieving the trio one by one. Katherine is facing a huge clean-up after its worst flood in almost 30 years.
Good news now for Panthers fans, with the new Penrith Stadium on track for completion this year, and now with a sponsor also.
Hello World Travel has bought naming rights to the ground, which sits 12 kilometres from the new Western Sydney Airport.
Sydney's latest stadium is really taking shape, and today the new home of the Penrith Panthers got a name.
The name, Hello World Stadium, just rolls off the lips.
The Hello World Stadium, after a naming rights deal with the Australian-owned travel company.
Had to be pretty keen to get it, but we were keen to get it from the go-get and we got there.
Venues New South Wales says there'd been a lot of competition. Now Allianz, Combank and Accor stadiums are joined by Hello World.
We wanted a brand that would actually stand out and speak to the local community.
Panthers champion Tony Pulatula excited by the stadium's future, but also cherishing the past.
Always be Penrith Park. My father used to stand on this hill and watch all our games.
Rising from the same site, the $309 million replacement with a capacity of 25,000, doubling the number of seats undercover, more food outlets, toilets, player facilities.
The project is on budget, on time.
What are the steepest stands allowed? Fans will be right on top of the action. Construction due to finish by the end of the year, and then Penrith will be able to say hello to the new season.
In its brand new home with some new supporters.
I will be, absolutely, in my Hello World hat, T-shirt, Panthers jumper.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
Sydney Chock Shock still to come. Easter egg hunts for the cheapest treats as prices soar. Could we see a bunny boycott?
And 50s years on our screens, remembering actress Wendy Playfair. Don't miss those stories shortly here on 7 News. But first, Matt is back with sport. Matt, a bizarre setback for the Roosters.
Much of all things, an e-bike did the damage. Billy Smith is in doubt after a freak accident that also involved a Roosters teammate. That's coming up. Also tonight, let's focus on the match, not the milestone. Wayne Bennett's not happy about the try-scoring celebration talk. And the Matildas gearing up for the great unknown in the Asian Cup. An e-bike incident is likely to see Roosters star Billy Smith ruled out of tomorrow night's clash against the Rabbitohs and possibly next week against Penrith. Smith and teammate Egan Butcher were doubling at Moore Park when Smith came off the bike, suffering concussion and needing stitches. Meanwhile, Wayne Bennett has had enough of the focus being on a possible crowd celebration if Alex Johnston breaks the all-time try-scoring record at Allianz Stadium.
Not daycare, but a distraction. 2 more touchdowns and Alex Johnston leaps the great Ken Irvine to become the game's top try scorer. His coach's priority, tomorrow night's result, not the record.
I could have talked myself to death about it because it's been that long coming to get to this place. Why would we focus on it? The bottom line, it'll happen, and when it happens, we'll all celebrate.
Bennett still against Johnston getting his Buddy Franklin moment, mobbed by fans invading the field to celebrate the milestone.
No, I haven't changed my mind about that. No.
Scoring last week against the Dolphins put Johnston one short of Irvine's 212 tries. As for critics bagging Latrell Mitchell for not passing to Johnston, denying him the chance to equal Irvine.
He'll be the first guy to pass in the ball. Latrell is the most selfish player.
David Fafita, Latrell Mitchell and Johnston on the left edge has Roosters wary, South fans excited.
Do I look excited?
There's an absolute respect, and as we said, he's on that side with AJ, so it's do your job.
More havoc tipped from Tigers teenager Hamasi Makasini against the Cowboys. The 18-year-old already likened to rugby legend Jonah Lomu. Saturday night at Leichhardt Oval will be only Makasini's second NRL game.
He's had some comparisons to some great players, but it's hard because if you look at the 1995 World Cup, the highlights look the same. Like, that's why it's crazy, you know, but that's one highlight of hopefully many in his career.
Despite losing in Golden Point to Canberra, Manly's Jake Trbojevic reckons his new look headgear is preventing further concussions.
It gives me confidence, and coming off last year, as I said, I'd be silly if I didn't give these sort of things a go.
Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
Brisbane has won a multi-million-dollar bidding war to sign Warriors and Blues prop Mitch Barnett from next year as a replacement for Payne Haas, who's joining Souths in 2027. Meanwhile, the Panthers are pulling a crowd on arrival in Bathurst this evening, taking big-time footy back to the bush. Liam Henry grew up in nearby Blaney.
I know the kids love it. I remember when I was their age running around, so it means a lot to them and it means a lot to us too.
The Panthers play the Sharks in Bathurst tomorrow night. They won't rule him out yet, but Giants midfielder Finn Callaghan is in doubt for Saturday afternoon's clash against the Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. Missing from training today, Callaghan returned from a hip injury just last week in the win over the Hawks.
Depends who you ask. If you ask him, he's fine. I think he's going to be okay. He's pulled up really sore after that game. He didn't play any practice matches.
The Giants have dropped 8 of their last 9 matches against the Dogs. The Blues are one-day cup champions after cruising past Tasmania in a rain-affected final in Hobart. Set 119 for victory in a match shortened to 22 overs. New South Wales skipper Curtis Patterson thumped an unbeaten half-century to seal a 4-wicket win.
10 minutes of more rain away from not even getting on the field there, so it's just wild how the day panned out.
It's a record-extending 13th title for New South Wales. The Matildas are confident they can manage North Korea's aggressive approach in tomorrow night's sudden death Asian Cup quarter-final in Perth. The Aussies hit the training track this afternoon, wary of their opponents' tactics from previous encounters.
I think just being ready for it, and it's probably nice to see a little bit of it the other day just based on the fact that we now know what we can expect, but just focusing ourselves is the main thing.
Missing from training, Steph Catley and Hayley Rasso remain out due to concussion. While in Paris, Pedro Neto ball. The Kings are one win away from the NBL Championship Series after taking the opening game of their semi-final against the Perth Wildcats. Superstar guard Kendrick Davis top scored with 35 points as the Kings held on in a nail-biter, 105 to 104.
Doolittle misses, JLA, he misses, it's there for the Sydney Kings.
Game 2 of the 3-game series is on Saturday night in Perth. And finally, in Adelaide, Hannah Green's 4 shots off the lead at the Women's Australian Open after a 2-under par opening round. 3-time major champ Minjee Lee sits at even par. Fellow Aussie Steph Kyriakou had a difficult day, but ended it with this on the 17th.
Hey! A glimmer of light in a round of darkness for Steph Kyriakou.
Never happens to me, guys. Never finish with a glimmer of light. She finished at 9 over par. That happens to me. That's Kelsey Bennett right there. She's the best of the Aussies at 3 under. A glimmer of light in golf. Don't know what that means.
Almost impossible. Go on, you, mate. Thank you.
Well, families could be forced into an Easter bunny boycott this year.
The cost of the festive favourites is soaring as high as $30 each, coming at a bad time for supermarkets already under heavy pricing scrutiny.
Supermarket shelves packed with Easter treats, but prices are delivering a shock. $30 for Darryl Lee's Big Bunny at IGA.
That's ridiculous.
Easter bunny, $30. Would you pay for that?
No, not today.
Name the price, chocolate, so I'll pay anything really. I don't mind, as long as it tastes good.
According to comparison app Zift, the price of a 100-gram Lindt bunny is up 50% in just 2 years, now costing between nearly $9 and $14 depending on where you shop. Retailers and chocolate makers blaming costs on global cocoa supply shortages.
Cocoa prices did more than quadruple at one point, but they're now back to normal, so it's very hard to see, to justify those continued price increases.
Cheaper chocolate can be found at Aldi a net of eggs for $1.99, while Coles, Woolworths and IGA are all cycling through specials.
I'll wait until the day after Easter, then celebrate.
Confidence in supermarket pricing is already low and under scrutiny. Coles has been in court for allegedly misleading customers with fake discounts. Woolworths comes up against the ACCC next month.
I would imagine the major supermarkets are being very, very cautious right now with their pricing, their discounts, because they're in the eye of the storm, frankly.
Georgia Holland, 7 News.
Australian actress Wendy Playfair has died, best known for her role as Minnie Donovan in the TV series Prisoner. She had a career spanning 50 years across film and TV.
That doesn't sound like the Minnie Donovan I knew.
Everyone's got to make a living doing what they do best. And if I do say so myself, my gang's the best there is.
Playfair also featured in episodes of Home and Away and A Country Practice. She was 99 years old.
Well, an Aussie supermum with a big heart on tonight's Bright Side. Next, how Barbara's giving hope and changing lives.
And I've just received the latest weekend weather forecast. That's coming up next.
Tonight's edition of The Nightly is out now. Australia's only digital newspaper to drop nightly. Free to your device every weeknight. News as it is at thenightly.com.au.
From petrol to power, with fuel prices surging and war in the Middle East escalating, ditching the Bowser for the battery.
50% uplift over the past 2 weeks.
7 News investigates which models are worth it, which ones aren't, and the real money you could save. On 7 News tomorrow.
Hello again. We have got some cloud developing in parts this evening. Windy conditions too, which will persist into tomorrow. It is currently hovering around 23 degrees in the city. That top of 27 is a touch above average for this time of year. Picking up the satellite image now, and a trough entered the state's far south late yesterday. It has been crossing across the state today and will continue that pattern tonight, bringing a cool southerly change and a few showers in its wake. But a large high-pressure system is developing over the Tasman, and it should trigger a return to mostly settled conditions just in time for the weekend. But until then, showers are forecast in Brisbane tomorrow, tops of 31 degrees. Cloud clearing down in Canberra, tops of 24, 20 the top under cloudy skies in Melbourne. A possible early shower in Hobart, looking partly cloudy tomorrow in Adelaide, partly cloudy also over in Perth, with more showers on the way for Darwin. Flood watches remain in place across the top end. Taking a look across New South Wales tomorrow, we've got scattered showers forecast across the northeast, a slight risk of heavy falls at times, with isolated falls, also a chance on the northern slopes and central parts of the east. Remaining dry elsewhere though. The eastern half of New South Wales and the far west expecting below average temperatures. That does include us here in Sydney and on the central coast. So from the mid to high 20s today, tops tomorrow look set to hover between 21 to 23 degrees in most suburbs, a cooler 17 the top out at Katoomba. There'll be some cloud about too, a chance of showers early. Going to be a little bit windy as well. Southerlies reaching up to 35 k's an hour. Strong wind warnings active along much of the state's coastline and on our enclosed waters tomorrow. Off Sydney, southerlies are set to reach up to 30 knots during the late morning and afternoon. That's on a southerly swell which will run at around 2 metres, increasing to 3 metres during the morning too. But back in the city, partly cloudy skies are forecast. A chance of those showers during the morning. A cooler 23 degrees, the forecast top in the city. It will warm up ever so slightly to start the weekend. 25 degrees expected under partly cloudy skies. Remaining dry though, with the sunshine set to return by Sunday. Tops steadily climbing as well. 27 to 29 degrees across the city comes Sunday, reaching the 30s across the west by Monday. Then the next round of showers arrive. But Angie and Michael, at this stage of the weekend, not looking too bad.
We'll take that. Looks good. All right, Em, thank you for that. Now here's Amy Clements with The Bright Side.
These photos tell the story of a life spent opening the front door.
One time I got a kid in it, it was after midnight, a little baby with just a nappy on. You know, that sort of thing, it makes you feel like you're doing something worthwhile.
Since the 1970s, Barbara Bannister has welcomed more than 750 children into her home through foster care. But it's never been about keeping count.
I just think they need somebody persistent in their life To have somebody there that cares about you and wants to look after you, that's fairly important.
Lisa Batty was her first.
I just say thank you. Thanks for loving me and taking care of me.
After decades of caring for others, the 84-year-old is still full of energy. Hitting the dance floor every Saturday, she continues to offer teenagers a safe place to land. With hundreds of children needing a home, there's an urgent search for more foster carers. Information available this week at the New South Wales Seniors Festival at the IC6 Sydney, or by searching New South Wales Government Foster Care.
It's just something that if you feel like you want to do it and you're able, then I think you should do it.
Thank goodness for wonderful people like Barbara. Great
Very
job.
special.
Yeah.
And that is 7 News for this Thursday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening.
From all our 7 News team, thanks so much for your company. Have a great night.